Hello, Rama Puppot. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a happy and peaceful life. Now let's continue with Sub Registrar Narayana Iyer. That night, Bhagavan read out the verses in the most musical tone, making every word so comprehensible, so simple that Narayana Iyer was left wondering if he was being hypnotized. Whatever he is reading now, I can understand. Previously, I couldn't understand a single word, was his thought. While his mind was in this kind of turmoil, Bhagwan focused his attention solely on him in the midst of his reading. In the earlier days, there was only a small, intimate group around Bhagavan. People started thronging to the ashram only in the 1940s. Before that, Bhagavan would often look directly at the person he had chosen. Narayana Iyer was mesmerized both by Bhagavan and the verse that he was reading. Narayana Iyer recalled, while explaining verse 21, Bhagavan said, God can neither be seen with our eyes nor with our senses. To see God is to be God. This is what the verse is saying. From the audience, a person called Dandabani Swami asked rather boldly, is Bhagavan saying this out of his own experience? This blunt question was answered calmly and with candor by Bhagavan. Otherwise, would I dare say so? On hearing this declaration, a strange sensation overtook Narayana Iyer. His entire frame quivered, and when he looked at Bhagavan in that state, he saw a glorious and luminous aura around him. Narayana Iyer had the experience. To see God is to be God. The thought that Narayana Iyer had was, if he, who all religious acclaim to be God, were to appear before me in flesh and blood, here he is. Narayana Iyer had an inner experience that affirmed that Bhagavan was God himself. Narayana Iyer said, from that moment onwards, it was not my decision. I had become a slave of Bhagavan. Narayana Iyer explained to me, Ganesan, I had refused to succumb to any form of intellectual conviction about God. Hence, Bhagavan had to give me the experience that he is God. I teased him, saying, in Bhagavan's words, Narayana Iyer became God to experience God. He embraced me and said, yes, that is the truth. To know God, one has to become God. There is no other way. I think it was purely due to the blessings of Bhagavan on me that Narayana Iyer narrated to me some of his experiences with Bhagavan. Perhaps Bhagavan wanted it all to be shared. On many occasions, Narayana Iyer would come to the ashram office, drag me outside and lead me to the cow shed or to the foot of the hill. He would then share his experiences with me. His refrain always was, I did not deserve such pointed tenderness from Bhagavan. Perhaps I did some good deeds in my past lives. In this life, I have neither done puja nor sadhana to deserve such special attention and love from him. Once I asked him to clarify what he meant and how he felt when he declared that for him Bhagavan was God. It was not that I doubted Narayana Iyer's experience. I just wanted to hear it in his own words. He said, Bhagavan is God himself, and in saying this, I do not refer to any God or of any religion, but to the universal principle of pure consciousness. I would not like to compare him to any of the past personages as there is no meaning in comparing the incarnation of that one principle which has no second. However, for our understanding, if we need to, then the comparison can be done only with the Buddha or Jesus Christ. Narayana Iyer said, whenever I was talking to Bhagavan or sitting in his presence, there was the feeling that here is God, sitting and talking. It is our greatest fortune that the Supreme Consciousness, appearing in the garb of a human body, graciously undertook to come down to our level of understanding and interpret to us the truth of Atma Vidya, the wisdom of the self. Such thoughts always made me understand Bhagavan and his teachings more clearly. I told Narayana Iyer that when I came to the ashram for good, I really did not have the full grasp of Vedanta. I was 24 years of age at the time. Though I was equipped with an MA in philosophy and acquainted with both Eastern and Western philosophy, I could not grasp Vedanta, the crux of Hindu religion. I struggled because it was complex and vast. Some inmates of the ashram had told me, learn Sanskrit and study the works of Adi Shankara. Then you will be able to grasp the teachings of Bhagavan. Narayana Iyer asked, and what was your response? I replied, Narayana Iyer, I felt that doing sadhana, whatever kind of sadhana, was more important than gathering knowledge about different kinds of religions and philosophies. Narayana Iyer said, I was exactly in this state when I put forth questions to Bhagavan. Listen to how Bhagavan solved my problem in a trice. Once, some very learned scholars were sitting in the old hall, discussing portions of the Vedas, the Upanishads, and other scripture texts in Sanskrit. Bhagavan was giving them the right explanation, and it was indeed a sight to behold. Remember and adore while watching. I was also ridden with shame that these knowledgeable people were fortunate enough to be sharing this kind of learning with Bhagavan. They had a zest for learning and at the same time a keen understanding of the subject. Let's continue the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupodu.